Welcome back to At the Mic. This is a Tanager Talk brought to you by Dakota Realty. And today we have a special guest on the line. We have the other recipient of the Vermillion Streaming on 5-Star Communications Scholarship. Full name, William Henry Anderson, but he says his friends call him Henry, so that's what we're going to do today. Henry, how's it going today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I am doing great. You know, it's kind of rainy, but after all the rain we had, we didn't have any for a while, so we actually kind of needed it. So I can live with this.
I definitely can too.
All right. Well, I tell you what, for people that don't know you, why don't you take a moment to introduce kind of yourself and your family, parents, grandparents if you want, brothers, sisters, anything like that.
Sounds good. So I'm Henry Anderson. I'm a senior at Vermillion High School. Over the last 4 years, I've participated in a couple different activities, from sports to, fine arts, whether it be show choir, but I've also done track, cross country, and soccer as well. And I've had the privilege to be on some good, quite a few different good teams with some great people. And so I'm excited to talk a little bit about that here. I have two sisters, Lydia and Eleanor, and both of them are also pretty involved. Lydia does show choir, cross country, and track, and Eleanor is a 7th grader. Lydia's a sophomore. Eleanor's a 7th grader, going to be 8th grader, who does cross country, track, and then does club soccer as well. So just in general, we stay pretty active and pretty involved. So it's really fun to share the track and share the field with my siblings and a lot of my teammates and stuff.
Well, that is awesome. And something I heard you said show choir, and I couldn't remember, did you say theater as well or just show choir?
Just show choir.
All right. So what are you, tenor, baritone, bass?
I'm a baritone.
All right. See, so am I. And that I feel like baritones are underrated. Everyone loves either the really, really deep or the really, really high, but I think baritones are the ones that add the volume and the depth to songs.
100%.
All right. Well, see, I thought we'd get along. All right. Perfect. Well, I tell you what, the reason we're talking, and we'll just kind of talk about it first, is, you were the recipient of the 5-Star Communications and Vermillion Streaming Scholarship. When you applied, I saw the resume come through, and I thought, wow. I get focused on football and basketball and obviously softball. I try to, being a kind of a theater guy and a music guy, I try to get involved with all of it. But, there are only so many interviews I can do. And so I was glad it came across. I was glad you won, and I'm glad I'm getting this opportunity to talk with you because such varied interests. When you applied, was it something that you thought you had a good chance at?
I knew that I thought that I'd have a pretty decent shot at it. I also know that I have a lot of really talented classmates and a lot of really good people who also won a lot of different scholarships too, who I was up against. So I wasn't necessarily expecting to get it by any means. I was hoping I had a solid shot at it. But I was really happy when my name got called, and I was like, dang, okay, I'm happy with that.
Well, awesome. Well, I tell you what, we're going to talk about your college plans and everything towards the end, because I know you have some big stuff going on. But I tell you what, if you could pick just one of the activities that you participated in, and somebody said this was the only one you could have done, what would you have chosen?
So for sports, I would actually say throughout my 4 years, the one that has left the biggest impression on me would be show choir. I've met all of my best friends through it, and I've had a lot of really good experiences through it. But I've also had a lot of really good experiences with track and cross country as well. But I think the one that has left the biggest impression on me, and if I could only pick one, I'd say show choir.
Well, and I think, a lot of people, it sometimes seems like there are arts people, and it sometimes seems like there are athletics people, and sometimes never the two shall meet. But it feels like there's a lot of correlations in the team aspect, especially in a show choir, where it's the coordination and the teamwork, and you're practicing together every day, just like a football team, just like a basketball team. And sometimes with track and cross country, it's still a very individualized sport, even though you're part of a team. And I think it lends to building those relationships when you're in choir and stuff like that.
Oh, 100%. We practice, with show choir, we have a class period every single day of the week dedicated to it. So you're constantly surrounded by people throughout the entire year. And you get close with a lot of those people with your 40-person, 50-person group. And it's definitely meant a lot to me. And yeah, as you said, cross country and track are kind of individualized a little more than you would say basketball, football, baseball, stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely something that I get with that team aspect is definitely something I get a little more with that show choir.
And, when did you know you had a voice that lent itself to something like show choir?
Well, I really didn't. I tried out freshman year because, so my freshman year, 8th grade year, we had COVID. And during COVID, I mean, there wasn't a ton to do. So I decided I was going to play games with a couple of my friends that I'd known from, just from around town, from, people. And so I was like, you know what, I'll hop on some games and I'll play some games with some friends here. Well, I ended up playing Minecraft with a couple people, Grant Brower, Lucas Kirby, a couple people who all were really into show choir or who all had participated in it. Well, they were like, hey, you should try this out. You should try it. You'll really like it. And I was like, okay, I'll try. Like, why not? So I kind of said, you know what, might as well. My audition was terrible. I went back and watched it. It was the worst thing ever. But it definitely grew on me over 4 years. And over time, I definitely saw some improvement, which was really fun.
Singing, everybody has that story of kind of how they got into it and how they enjoyed it. And I've always loved it as well. So I just wanted to hear that aspect of it because that is such a team element. And now track and cross country, you have state track meet coming up. What do you have going on there, and how's the team going to do? So
I would say that this year is our best year that we've had in the last 4 that I've been in high school. We've had a lot of, so main events I run are middle distance and longer distance. And the 4 years I've been in it, we've had really good middle distance teams. My freshman year, our team, our boys 4x8 team, which is our 4x800 meter relay team, it's like the main middle distance relay for us. We got second place in that my freshman year. My sophomore year, we got third place in it. Last year, we had some injuries, some issues, got 8th place, which still isn't bad. And then this year we're ranked 5th going into it, but I could see us having an upside of looking into the top 3, top 4 for sure. And so it's really exciting. I'm really excited to kind of see how everyone can do. We qualified every single relay team across the board. We had people qualify in events from the 100 all the way up to the 2 mile. And we've got an 8th grader running 10:03 in the 2 mile. It's a really good team this year, and it's going to be really fun to kind of watch the events across the board at state and kind of see how our team stacks up against some of those other powerhouse teams in track.
Well, and that really
is. Excited.
And that is what's fun, is because especially at state track where you can cheer everybody else on, and especially relays. Relays are such a unique element. And I've always said I always think the 800 is the toughest event, just because it's a long distance for sprinters, and it's a bit of a sprint for distance runners. And to try to find 4 people that can run that 800 at a high enough quality level to do a relay shows a lot of depth and talent in Vermillion.
Right. And, all props to our coaches, too. Coach Fishback does a great job coaching our middle distance crew. Coach Billberg does a great job getting us ready, getting us in those events, practicing all year going into it. And so by the time state rolls around, generally speaking, we're ready to roll. We're ready to compete with those top teams. And so there's definitely props to be given for all the people who have helped us with it too.
Well, great. Well, and that right there shows a lot. A lot of people wouldn't even think about just the people that helped them out and the coaches. So, props to you for giving those shout outs. Well, I tell you what, I told you I had some icebreakers for you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about track, about your college plans, and then I'll let you go. Sound like a plan?
Yep.
All right.
Good.
So the first one is pretty easy usually, and there are no wrong answers. So trust me, there are no wrong answers, but you have one final meal, and you know it's going to be your final meal. What would you have?
Ooh, that's hard. I'd probably say hamburger. I really like a good hamburger. Maybe some bacon, some barbecue sauce on it, something like that.
All right. It's keeping it simple. I like it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with a hamburger, obviously you could choose some sides and a drink if you want.
Ooh, I really like bottled Coke. Bottled Coke is the go-to, and then cheese curds. Cheese curds is a side.
Oh, that is excellent. I like that. Making me hungry, but I like that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I tell you what, the next one, hopefully you're a music fan. Obviously, you have to be a little bit of a music fan to be in show choir.
Mm-hmm.
You can see any three musical artists, solo or group, from throughout history, live in concert. Which three would you choose?
So the first one for me is kind of a no-brainer, and it would be Queen. Live Aid, stuff like that. That would just be something to experience. Just crazy time. I would say almost the peak of music as a whole. I would say another band that I would really like to have seen in person in their prime would be recently I've really been into classic rock. So I would see maybe some AC/DC. Maybe some AC/DC, I guess. That would be really good. And then recent, I would say maybe we'll go Queen, AC/DC, and then a more recent band. I'm trying to think, what have I listened to a lot recently? I would say, so there's a kind of obscure artist known as Jason Isbell.
And the 400?
Yep, Jason Isbell in the 400 unit. And I really like his music. Him and his wife, Amanda Shires, and them. My dad listened to it a lot, and I listened to it a lot. And so definitely want to see them in person at some point.
Well, I tell you what, I saw them when they were at the Pavilion about 7-8 years ago. I wasn't familiar with him. I was actually going to see the Mountain Goats, who were opening for him. And, that's what brought me across his music. So, yeah, Jason Isbell, a bit of a different one than AC/DC and Queen. Not a bad group in there. Now, let me ask, with AC/DC, Bon Scott or Brian Johnson, do you have a preference?
Oh, Brian Johnson.
All right, I think so too. I agree. All right, and then, like you said, Live Aid, Wembley Stadium, Queen, Freddie Mercury, really, like you said, at his peak. I mean, the whole event, but Queen, the way he was able to control that crowd just with the movement of his hand.
Right.
I mean, to have that many people go up and down just with one man's movement, and some of them, hundreds of yards away, and everyone, I know exactly what you mean about that being the peak of music right there.
Yep.
Well,
I think that's as good as it gets, man.
I think you're right. Those are some awesome choices. All right. Well, my next one is time travel, and I feel like you're somebody that's going to have a good answer for me here. Like I said, there's no wrong answer, but I feel like you're somebody who can get this. You have the ability to travel back in time to any point in history and return safely once. To when would you travel and why?
Ooh, this is a good question. I don't know. I think pre World War I, jazz era, Great Gatsby era United States would be something that would be really fun to see. For sure. That'd be up there for me. I would also say that the music evolution from the 1950s all the way up to 1970s, 1980s would be, I always say my grandparents were the luckiest people alive for what they got to live through and listen to when they were in, their teens, and young adult era. I don't know. I'd have to say it's between those two, that 1910s, 1920s, and the, 1950s, 60s, 70s, I would say. Somewhere in there in the United States, which is kind of weird, but those are eras that I definitely have gotten a huge interest in recently.
Yeah, and I agree. You get into the 20s with the Flappers and some of the great jazz music that's being played back then, and just the color and the flamboyance of that time. But then, you talk about the evolution of music from where it was with Rock Around the Clock, kind of that first rock and roll song, to what Buddy Holly was able to do to bridge it from 50s into the 60s. And then with the Beatles and Elvis, all of a sudden you start getting into the 70s where black artists are able to start kind of being true, authentic individuals and seeing just that constant pushing of the envelope over those 2 or 3 decades.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. So, nope.
such a big like transition time in terms of music, and just like it's why it is the way it is today.
Exactly. Too many people now think, oh, we're making more strides now than we ever have in music. No, nope. I mean, when you look at what Buddy Holly did in the Beatles with the Wall of Sound, just the use of instruments and instrumentation, and just kind of the changing of the counting and the measures, and not everything has to be this 4/4. We're just going straight drum beat type of thing. Nope. I think either one of those are great choices. So. Good. I knew you'd have a good answer for me, and I knew you'd have a good reason for it. All right.
Yep.
Now this one. Money is no object, but you can only buy one thing. What would it be?
I don't know. My brain kind of goes towards like if there's like something that's like, okay, money's no object. I would say that I would get like a 1960s Corvette, 1960s, 1970s Corvette.
All right. Yeah, I think a nice, fine, classic automobile is a great way to go. So no,
that's I think that would be like brand new. Like if I could go back and like buy it on the day when it came out and have it now, 100%.
All right. See, we'll go with that then. See, a good classic automobile, nothing wrong with that. So cool. All right, now this final one is you can have multiple answers for this, because I know some people have heroes or idols or just people they look up to in like a professional setting or something that they want to go into, or an athlete, but they also have it in their private life, personal life. But who is somebody that you hold up in your life, or some people where you say, if I can live my life like him or her, I think I'll consider myself a success?
I would definitely say I would say both of my grandpas would definitely be people who I would really look up to. My grandpa Dennis, which is my mom's dad, was a Vietnam veteran, enlisted before he was drafted. Definitely a really, stand up, help out around the community, do as much possible for everybody kind of dude. And I would say my other grandpa, my dad's dad, Grandpa Bill Anderson, both of them are from Huron, would also be another one. And he owned a local furniture store up in Huron, spent numerous hours at the Salvation Army volunteering on boards and trying to help other people and make other people's lives better in the Huron area. And everywhere that I went, people recognized him and told him hi and said hi to me and whatever. And it was definitely something, definitely two people who I really look up to and who I strive to be like.
And you just kind of know, because they lived their life the right way, contentment and success come in various forms, and just doing the right thing and living life the right way, there's contentment in that and success in that in itself.
100%, yeah. I've seen plenty of examples of it where people can be super successful in one area, and man, like if you're not good all around, if you aren't happy with where you're at, you'll never be truly happy.
Exactly. I had a feeling you'd have a good answer for me there too. All right. See, I told you those wouldn't be painful. No wrong answers. You did well, but I tell you what, let's talk a little bit about your future plans. Where are you going to college, and what are you going to study?
So, earlier this year, I was pretty dead set on University of Nebraska at Lincoln, but, financial aid got all messed up this year. You know how it is sometimes with the government. They, man, like, they do it with taxes and they do it with financial aid apparently too. Because I didn't finally see my financial aid numbers until second week in May, first week in May, which is when all the deadlines were. But I ended up really liking a school out of Nashville called Belmont University. It's a private school. They've got 8,000, 9,000 students. They're a Division I school whose track team is okay. So, I have a decent chance of walking on and trying to pursue track or cross country there, which would be a lot of fun, I think. but I'm planning to go there and study something in business, and hopefully something in business, but with like a focus into the entertainment industry, whether it be music, and you're right there on, Music Row, and they have great opportunities through the college there because they're right there in Nashville. Um, just studying something in the entertainment industry with business and mixing them together and really kind of getting into that industry, I think would be a lot of fun, and I think I'd really enjoy it.
Well, no, that sounds awesome. That sounds really good. And so, yeah, Belmont, I mean, heck, the basketball team, I think, makes the NCAA tournament periodically.
hmm
And so, yeah, no, that sounds awesome. Now, Nashville, how far away is that?
So it's about 12 hours driving, but I was thinking about it the other day. Round trip flights to Nashville are not very bad on United straight from Sioux Falls. So it's actually cheaper for me to fly from Sioux Falls to Nashville than it is for me to drive. Um, so I will be coming back a couple times a year. Um, I mean, yeah, I'm just really it's 12 hours away, and I mean I'm kind of ready to see something new. I've been in South Dakota for my whole life. I think it'll be fun to live somewhere new, try something new for sure.
Oh, exactly. And I tell you, you're right in the middle of a music scene, so it's not not the worst thing in the world that way either. Being in Nashville, trying to enjoy some music, and I think you're only a few hours away from Memphis, so heck, you're going to be able to expose yourself to some new music, some great music. It feels like it might be just the perfect fit for you.
I'm really excited.
Well, congratulations. And Henry, I just want to say thank you. And because with you winning, it got me a chance to talk to you. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I want to wish you the best of luck and keep me in touch. Let me know how things are going down there. You've got my cell phone number. Honestly, feel free to text me at any time. And if I don't know if there's anything that I could ever do, but if there's anything I could ever help you with, don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Yep, for sure. Thank you, and thank you a lot for everything. I've really enjoyed the conversation today too.
Hey, it was my pleasure. I enjoyed it just as much. So you have a great day. Enjoy your summer. Have a great state track meet, and we will be talking to you down the line.
Sounds good.
That was William Henry Anderson, our recipient of the Vermillion Streaming 5-Star Communications Scholarship for 2024, along with Chandler Cleveland. And so that was a joy to talk with William Henry Anderson, as he will be heading down to Belmont University down in Nashville. So congratulations to him. And that is always an honor, getting to present that scholarship to those athletes. And then getting to talk to him afterwards has been even better. So thank you so much to all of our sportscasters for being a part of that. And then this Tanager Talk obviously was brought to you by Dakota Realty. For all of your real estate needs in Vermillion and the surrounding areas, contact Dakota Realty. We'll be back with more after this on At the Mic with Michael Schumacher, brought to you by JR's Oasis on ESPN Radio, 101.5 FM, 1570 AM, KVTK, Vermillion and Yankton.